My name is Thomas Light. I am the researcher who designed and built Megaman X.
Megaman, Maverick Hunter X.
That takes me back a good 10 years. Hello everyone, and welcome to Let's Play Megaman Maverick Hunter X. Sort of. I'm handling this game a bit differently than what most people do with it, in that I'm starting with the second playable character, Beguiles. You don't get him until you beat the game as X, at which point you would also get the animated OVA that most of the little animations from that intro are from. And I'm going to be playing Beguiles on normal mode. When I eventually get to X, I'll be playing that on hard mode just to make it a bit more interesting. But I want to play on normal mode for Beguiles just so you can get a better grasp on how kind of broken he can get.
Why does it have to be you? Come to reprimand me in person, did you?
I need your help to defeat X.
To defeat X?
Yes, in order to ensure our future and speed along our evolution.
What on earth are you talking about? What could that worrywart Hunter possibly do for us?
His worrying. That is precisely the quality that will prove beneficial to our cause. He alone possesses that ability. He thinks more deeply than the rest of us. He feels. Normal Reploids are no match for his heart. But he is unaware of his incredible power.
So to take advantage of this power of his, you're planning to go Maverick?
Precisely.
And you want me to help you?
That's why I've come here.
You're insane.
I won't force you. This isn't something most Reploids could do. I need someone who can go Maverick of their own accord.
Sorry to burst your bubble, but I'm the one that's gonna change the world.
I'll show you how strong I am.
Incite rebellion. Split up the Hunter's forces. That's the way to get to X. But Sigma, I may be a wild card you hadn't counted on.
And thus it begins. Beguiles, to start off, plays entirely different than X. He'll never get a dash feature, but he does have 3 weapon types to start off with. Your square button acts as your little Vulcan cannon, which I'm firing right now. Triangle is your shoulder cannon, the one that he disables you with during both the original campaign and the remakes when we get to that eventually. And the circle button uses his little knee bombs we've seen him use before back in the original game as well. The latter two can be used in a few different ways. Beguiles, at least starting shoulder cannon, can be aimed higher up by holding up or straight ahead by pressing down. And you can use the bombs either while standing on the ground or in midair for slight different effects. You're mostly going to be using the bombs in midair, though, because that extends your airtime and it actually allows you to get a slightly different arc on your jump. Beguiles' playstyle takes a lot of getting used to, especially because with everything you fire, his weapon energy bar on the top left there slowly decreases. Certain weapons take certain amounts. It's all just weird. Now, I'm not playing on hard mode. The main reason I'm not doing that with Vile is so you guys can get a good grasp on how much he can take compared to X when we get to that. Because especially starting Vile on hard mode. There we go. Get the sentence out, Kyle. Some enemies can kill you in 3 hits, and that is just kind of ridiculous. X is somewhat the same, but he also has more ways to deal with it earlier on. Now, something that this is the game that kind of tipped me off to in terms of Vile's design. I never realized growing up, by the way, I died there. Yeah, I'm going to be dying a bit as Vile over here and there. I always figured that the black T on Vile's helmet was just like either a visor or shadow overcasting what's supposed to be his face. But no, that's just outright how his face is. It's a featureless black void, which is kind of intimidating and Boba Fett-like, obviously. But yeah, that was always kind of cool. I think I actually also have a toy of this exact Vile design somewhere around the time Maverick Hunter X came out, because I got there's a 3-pack of him, X, and Zero. Either way, we're getting towards the end of the Ruined Highway stage. A lot of the enemies here are going to be fairly standard, and you're going to be seeing them a lot later on. They're just there to get you used to the way Vile works mechanically. But we're coming up on the boss.
Vile, what are you doing here?
X! How do you like being Sigma's puppet?
You've been drawn into Sigma's rebellion as well?
Rebellion? I couldn't care less. I just hate you, that's all.
This is as far as you go.
Now, one of the major things that changes on hard mode, I believe, is the fact that every boss gets a new attack and their HP is slightly increased. Because as you can see, my ankle bombs are tearing X apart. 4 hits is all it takes. I forget what his new attack is. He just runs all over the place shooting lasers.
Now let's find out which one of us is truly the better Reploid. Sigma was wrong. You're not the Reploid with the power to change the world. I am. Me. Vile.
X, hang in there, buddy.
Zero. If you're gonna take that B-class hunter's side, then I'll have to destroy you too.
Do your worst, Maverick. But... Huh? Not today. Let's get out of here, X.
X. Why does everyone like that guy? Whatever. When the time comes, they'll all know the truth.
Vile, my supporters have been revolting across the land. What is your plan?
Sigma, I have my own way of dealing with things. You just sit back and enjoy the show.
Very well.
You'll find out who really has the potential you talk about.
So if it's not obvious at this point, the Vile campaign is more or less a what-if scenario if Vile went after all of the Mavericks and such in X1. It's completely non-canon, though. If they ever made a sequel to this, I suppose they probably would have made a sequel campaign for Vile to show up in.
Chill Penguin.
And as usual, we're going after Chill Penguin first because I think he gives us the best rewards. What do I mean by that? Well, we'll see when we get to that point. But the major difference that the Vile campaign has compared to the X campaign when we get to that is that the enemy layouts are completely different, as are item layouts. For instance, we never saw a lot of these guys in this stage, or at least not this early on. There's also going to be a few minor differences. Vile is not going to get any Dr. Light capsules like X does, because that just wouldn't make sense. But he does have heart tanks and sub-tanks, and those are in all new locations. He also has a new gimmick that we'll be seeing towards the end of this particular stage. Now, one thing I do really like to compliment this game on, and I think X8, because I think it's the same voice actor, Roger Rhodes, the guy who plays Vile in this game, just has so much fun with the role. Vile is so fun to listen to in this game. Roger Rhodes, I know him best as Chimney Crockett from Mobile Fighter G Gundam, which is an odd parallel, by the way, because the guy who voices X was Domon in that. He was also Cygnus in X8, as well as Gravity on Talion, and 3 of the bosses in Mega Man X Command Mission. And he just feels so natural to this role. I really wish, if this ever gets a sequel, that Vile does show up in it, because while this is Mega Man X, again, as a remake, as we'll see when we get to the Day of Sigma OVA in between the 2 campaigns, because that's when I'm going to do that for narrative flow reasons, this is less so just an outright remake. It was more intended to be a reboot for the X series, and well, I'd like to see where they could have gone with that. Now, one thing you do really need to be careful of early on is watching exactly what's going on around you with Vile, because comparatively, not only are there enemies in different locations compared to when you were playing as X, or we will be playing as X later on, rather, there also are a lot more of them. I think Vile takes more damage, but I can't quite tell, because I obviously have the bias of playing on hard mode, where attacks do a bit more damage anyway. Coming up here, though, is the new gimmick for Vile as well. His ride armor is in every one of the stages in the game. And it's not just like X's ride armor that we see later on. It has the punches, however, if you hold the triangle button, it has a bit of a spread fighter attack that can really tear apart enemies. The major difference, though, is that, well, first off, we want to come down here to this thing and destroy it, because this is where Vile's first hard tank is for us. Then on the top left, as we can see, there is a time limit on the ride armor. If you jump out of the ride armor by pressing up in the jump button, or the time limit runs out, it self-destructs. Now, the self-destruct does actually kill enemies, as you can see there, but that can be kind of annoying. The time limit isn't also set in stone. It's generally 30 seconds, but if you collect weapon energy, it can get restored. So that means hope you get it by enemy drops. But if you take damage, you lose, I think it's either 5 or 6 seconds total. I guess we're about to see. That's about 5 seconds. And in one case, you need to actually master that time system, because one of the sub-tanks requires us to ride this thing over a good amount of platforms in the level. It's good. I wish you could take it in the boss fights, but it's overall a fairly cool idea. Either way, time for chill.
Vile! I've never seen a Maverick who thought he was a hunter before.
Hunter? Ha, I've never once entertained such thoughts.
Waha! Good answer, but you're still acting crazy. What exactly do you plan to do?
Same thing I always do. Crush anyone and anything who gets on my bad side.
You're finished!
Chell Penguin on normal mode has basically not changed at all from his incarnation in the original Mega Man X. If you want my recommendation on doing damage to him, your knee bombs are your best bet. In fact, for the early portion of the game, knee bombs are going to be your most damaging thing. Pattern's the exact same. That is actually one thing hard mode changes, and that's why I'm doing X as hard mode, just to keep things a bit more varied. Every Maverick gets a new attack on hard mode. And I wouldn't show that off as Vile, but I wanted one playthrough to be on normal, this one on hard, just so there could be a bit more difference. And it made more sense to me to play the game on hard as X, because then there'd be a bit more differences going on from the redo of the original LP. Chell Penguin, though, not a very hard boss. Knee bombs for the win. Also, I forgot to mention, Chell Penguin's voiced by the guy who voiced Dr. Wily in Mega Man Powered Up, and Vile, I think, is also the voice of Fireman from that game. And here we get new weapons. The way you get weapons as Vile is by beating either one boss or a combination of bosses for certain types. The reason I went after Chell Penguin first was because of the Frozen Castle, which is basically the Mega Man X armor, decreases damage by 50%, and my favorite machine gun weapon in the game, the Distance Needler. Great range and speed, doesn't fire that fast, but it can pierce through guards and it does absurd damage.
Storm Eagle.
I'll be going over all the weapons as we get them. Now, you're going to be noticing something about the Vile campaign around now. You hear that song? It's the same song we heard in the intro stage. And Chell Penguin stage. Until the Sigma Castle later on, Vile's campaign only plays the one song. So as you just saw me do, from every stage here on, until the Sigma stages, I am going to be going into the options, and from here on out, cutting past when I do that, and playing a song from X2 through 8 over it, just to give us a bit more musical variance. I'm generally going with what is my favorite out of the main 8 Maverick stage themes from those games, hence why we're hearing Bubble Crab right now. But that was just so we could not get bored by hearing it over and over again, because that is my biggest complaint in the Vile campaign. There's only one song until the Sigma stages, and while it's a good theme for maybe the intro stage, hearing it over and over again just gets boring. What I wish they maybe could have done instead, there was probably a reason they couldn't, maybe just due to like time stuff or lack of resources at the time. I wish they could have done maybe heavier metal remixes of the main 8 stage themes. More so than we already get, though, because when we get to playing as X, he has remixes as it is, and they're great remixes. Heart Tank for Storm Eagle is now on top of the radio tower towards the middle of the stage, as is where the ride armor is, and what we're going after now is our first sub-tank, and it is the hardest sub-tank to get in the game, because we need to get all the way over this platforming section to close to where the helmet was in the original Mega Man X, within that 30-second time limit. And as you can see, due to the fact I took a dumb hit there, and I'm not getting weapon energy capsules, although I will take the extra life too, I kind of got screwed out of stuff there, so I had to backtrack and get it. Not every ride armor respawns, I think. There's one in particular in Spark Mandrill's stage, I swear never respawns. But either way, I got to the end, get out of the ride armor, and it'll blow up these boxes, allowing us to come over here and get the sub-tank. Second try's not bad. It's taken me upwards of a half hour to get this thing if I'm just not lucky enough with enemy drops. But yeah, the Distance Needler is an absurd weapon. Its damage, it's roughly 3 to 4 times that of the Cherry Burster, I think it's called, which is your starting Vulcan cannon. And it can pierce through enemies and guards, allowing you to basically kill a lot of enemies in a row if you're careful you're shooting like that. And the not Sniper Joe for this game, the one that has the shield and the mace, you can pierce through the guard and kill that thing in 2 shots. This weapon is absurd. There are other great Vulcan cannons, but this has always been my favorite one ever since I first used it. Also, one thing I should mention, once I get towards the boss fight, I will actually be turning back on the standard music. I'll sometimes forget to do it until later, but otherwise, that's it. Also, the boss fight now starts the moment you get on the ship instead of going to the little platforming section first.
So it begins. Vile, I have no reason to fight you.
We're in agreement there. I have no reason to fight you either.
In that case, stand down. You're just confused, Vile, that's all.
I've always hated you, Storm Eagle. You and that smug face of yours.
Step into battle.
Storm Eagle's very unchanged, but look at how much damage Distance Needler just did to him. That's like, combined with the one shot I got of him with the shoulder cannon, that's about 1/6 of his health right there. That is ridiculous. Also, overall, Storm Eagle is very unchanged on normal mode. He gets one new attack, technically, in the remake, and that's that during his little dive attack, he no longer just does it from a diagonal angle. He'll go straight across the ship as well, while also doing the old-fashioned dive down. He's also voiced by Tommy James, I believe his name is, who is the voice of Badass in Command Mission. Dark Mantis in X8, as well as I think in Powered Up Gutsman, and I think he was one of the voice actors in Battle Network 5 Double Team DS. Either way, with the Distance Needler on normal mode, even on hard mode, Storm Eagle is not that hard of a boss in Vile mode. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 2, we'll be heading after a lot more Mavericks with Vile, as well as getting a lot of new weapons in the process. See you guys then.